The Fox 61 News at 10 starts now.
Breaking new details tonight in a police shooting that began as a mental health call. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. The Office of Inspector General has now identified the man who was shot, and it's released a preliminary report outlining the moments leading up to the gunfire.
Fox 61's Tim Latow shares what that report reveals about the officer's response and where the investigation stands tonight.
The Office of the Inspector General has identified the victim as 55-year-old Stephen Jones in a new report, and in this new body cam footage, it stated the first officers calmly arrived on scene and asked Jones numerous times to drop the knife. He never did, and the situation intensified from there. It started as a mental health call. A preliminary report from the Office of the Inspector General says a family member of 55-year-old Stephen Jones called 911 after he cut himself with a knife. Officer Josue Charles found Jones on his front stoop to his home when he arrived on scene. Jones still had the large knife in his hand, and Officer Charles asked him to drop it.
Hold on, drop the knife. Drop the knife first.
Then Jones approached Officer Charles at his squad car. Officer Charles backed up and pulled out his taser and ordered Jones to drop the knife. He tried to deploy his taser multiple times, but it was unsuccessful.
It's ineffective.
Jones spun with the knife in his hand. He then hurried towards Officer James Prignano, who just arrived on scene.
My man, you gotta drop it. You gotta drop it.
Officers were able to form a semicircle around Jones. Then Officer Joseph Mignano arrived on scene 30 seconds before the shooting. We paused the video before Officer Mignano fired his gun 9 times.
Hey, drop the knife. Drop the knife. Do you have a taser? No, drop the knife. Drop the knife. Drop the knife. Drop it. Drop the knife. Drop the knife. Woman, you're gonna get shot. Drop the knife. Drop the knife. Drop the knife. Drop it. Last time. Drop the knife. Drop it!
And according to the Office of the Inspector General, an ambulance arrived on scene 2 minutes later. Jones remains in critical condition in the intensive care unit, and Hartford police have confirmed to Fox 61 that Officer Joseph Bignano has been placed on administrative leave. He is the only officer from the incident currently on leave. The investigation is ongoing. In studio, Tim Latow, Fox 61.
And we're following this story and bringing you all updates on air and online at fox61.com. You can also download the free Fox 61 News app by scanning the QR code there on your screen.
Well, hi, everyone. Yeah, we'll get ready for a little nuisance storm tomorrow. Nothing big. It's just a messy mix. It's going to begin around 10 a.m. go to Wednesday. We're on the weather impact alert again for that snow mixed to rain. And we'll have some slick spots, especially in those untreated areas. And, of course, allow extra time for traveling. I think it'll be tomorrow afternoon, the rush hour, especially in untreated areas. As a result, of course, National Weather Service has put northern Connecticut under a winter weather advisory from tomorrow again until Wednesday early in the morning for more of that wintry mix, that sort of wintry mix. Meanwhile, right now, temperatures are in the teens, 17 in Torrington, the 25 Groton in London, 26 in New Haven. So overnight, mainly clear. It is cold, so this precipitation will start out as snow. Here we are, and we're going to start out again in the morning. A dry start, but snow develops around 9 or 10. And we'll have a snow to mix to rain, and by the evening, yeah, we're going to have some rain and some icy spots. Again, here's a temperature profile for Connecticut and Connecticut. Let me back that up. For Hartford, check that out. So temperatures, even downtown Hartford, we're going to start snowing around 10, 11 o'clock, and temperatures are going to get up into the lower and middle 30s throughout the afternoon hours. And yes, look at this, though. We're going to get up to near 50 by Wednesday. Coming up, and I'll detail the rest of the week. I have some real good news as we head towards the weekend, and we'll have the latest on the little mixed totals, too, as well. Guys?
All right, Sam, thank you. Well, state police are investigating what caused a deadly crash in New Canaan. It happened yesterday around 6 p.m. Police say 87-year-old Gary Berner was driving on Route 15 when he crashed into a barrier and his car flipped over. Berner was pronounced dead on scene. Right now, police are trying to figure out what happened. Anyone who witnessed that crash is asked to contact state police.
A 16-year-old has been arrested in connection to a robbery in Norwalk. Police say on Saturday afternoon, the victim and suspect, both minors, met up for a meeting to sell clothing. They say that the suspect tried to pay with counterfeit money, which led to a fight there. Police say the suspect then showed a handgun and took off with a pair of the victim's jeans. The 16-year-old was arrested and charged with robbery and carrying a pistol without a permit. Norwalk police say you should always use caution when buying and selling items online. One person has serious injuries after a fire tore through an apartment building in Clinton today. This happened on Lafayette Green Road, and it kept the fire crews on scene for much of the day. Neighbors there say heavy black smoke was seen coming from a top floor unit where firefighters found the victim in a hallway. The other 3 units in the building were not damaged. No other injuries were reported. Clinton police say the fire marshal's office and the state police fire and explosion unit are investigating the cause.
We have an update out of Norwich now involving the city's volunteer fire departments. It's been nearly 3 weeks since the Yantic Volunteer Fire Department was suspended over a new contract agreement. Today, the chiefs of the Yantic, Taftville, Ockham, and Laurel Hill volunteer fire departments say they met with city officials to discuss a path forward. In a statement, they say the meeting was held in good faith, but key issues remain unresolved. Those include the possible reinstatement of the Yantic department, the return of its equipment, and concerns about potential shutdowns of the other volunteer companies. The chiefs say legal proceedings against the city are still active.
In Oxford, Quaker Farm School was closed today. Workers are conducting extra mold testing. So the district began testing for mold and air quality issues after last month's power outages. There were frozen pipes and a heat disruption as well. Classrooms where mold was detected were remediated over the weekend, and they'll be retested. Officials say current results are within acceptable limits, but the school will be open tomorrow.
Cheshire Academy is reassuring families after a shelter-in-place was issued on campus this evening. School officials say police were called after outside visitors were seen inside a campus building. Out of an abundance of caution, the school initiated a shelter-in-place while officers investigated. Police responded quickly and determined there was no real threat to the campus, and the order was later lifted. We continue to follow the developing situation in Iran, where the death toll is rising in an expanding war. U.S. and Israeli joint strikes have killed Iran's supreme leader, several senior officials, and according to Iranian state media, more than 150 girls at an elementary school.
Iran is retaliating with strikes across the region, while a top official in Tehran says the country will not negotiate with the United States. In his first public remarks since the strikes began Saturday, President Donald Trump said Iranian leaders ignored U.S. warnings not to rebuild their nuclear program, calling a nuclear-armed Iran an intolerable threat. The president said U.S. forces are continuing large-scale combat operations and intensifying their response. At least 6 American service members have been killed. The conflict's also having global impacts, disrupting air travel and pushing gas prices higher in the United States.
And as that conflict in the Middle East escalates, a group of Connecticut churchgoers is now trying to find a way home.
Just over a week ago, Bishop Jeffrey Mello of the Episcopal Church in Connecticut led parishioners on a pilgrimage to Jerusalem. Amid ongoing airstrikes, the group has since taken refuge in Jordan. Fox 61's Aaron Coogan has their story.
Well, in the age of social media, parishioners across the state are following along in real time, praying for the safe return of some of their own. Today, we woke up in the relative safety of Amman, Jordan. A post to Connecticut Bishop Jeffrey Mello's Facebook page read Monday afternoon, quote, "We're still hopeful we will return to the U.S. in the next day or so," end quote. It's a saga members of the Episcopal Church have been monitoring closely. Nearly a dozen people from Connecticut now stuck in the Middle East amidst back and forth airstrikes between the U.S., Israel, and Iran. Our calls overseas going unanswered and visits to the church back here at home leading us to the latest information on social media. An update from the Holy Land. Another post dated March 1st writes, after a day of sheltering in place at St. George's in Jerusalem, our ECCT pilgrims were able to cross over into Jordan at the famous Allenby Bridge border crossing. The airport in Amman is still open and we're waiting for the first available flight. We hope to be able to return home this week. It was February 21st that Bishop Mello, alongside Reverend Ryan Fleener with St. Luke's Parish in Darien, made their first posts about the group embarking on the transformative pilgrimage to the Holy Land. A week into their trip, however, alarms blared and warned of imminent international conflict. The terrifying hours to follow documented and shared in real time. Dear beloved in the Episcopal Church in Connecticut, a post reads from this past Saturday. As you may have already seen, Israel and the United States launched a preemptive strike on Iran several hours ago. Our group of pilgrims was in Bethlehem when the alarm sounded, and we have returned to St. George's in Jerusalem, where we are safe and secure, sheltering in place. Israeli airspace is currently closed, and we are exploring our options to return home as quickly as possible. The post goes on to explain that one of the goals of the pilgrimage was to stand in solidarity with those in the Holy Land who regularly live with threats of violence and insecurity. Bishop Mello sharing, quote, in this tense moment, we're proud to do just that, end quote. Back home, dozens have offered prayers and well wishes to those stuck overseas. Anxiously waiting for updates on their brothers and sisters, special worship services have also been held on the travelers' behalf. The main concern now remains the Middle Eastern airspace. As fighting intensifies, flights in and out of Jordan, where the group is stationed, have all been canceled through at least 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday. In Meriden, Aaron Coogan, Fox 61.